Have 4 days left to vote, and tonight Becca Habegger was out in the community asking why head to a voting center when you could just drop your ballot in the mail.
Catherine Guerrero of Carmichael is here at the vote center located in the Citrus Heights Community Center to drop off the ballot that had been mailed to her after completing it at home.
It makes me feel like I actually voted.
She was part of a steady stream of voters Friday afternoon, opting to drop off their mailed ballot here instead of into a U.S. Postal Service box.
I want to make sure that they get to the place they're supposed to be.
You know, I really wanted to make sure that I handed it to someone. You hear all kinds of stories of things going on with mail-in ballots.
It struck me as very secure.
In-person opportunities to vote are really important for everyone, but particularly for historically underrepresented groups.
Mindy Romero is director of the Center for Inclusive Democracy at USC's Price School of Public Policy. She says in California, studies show mail-in ballots are widely used by people across all demographics.
I want to make that clear that vote by mail is still used predominantly by everyone, but if you're looking at likelihoods, voters of color, young voters, or low-income voters are more likely to need or choose an in-person voting location.
For some, she says it's a matter of services available at voting sites. For others, she says history is a driving factor.
Some of it is just wanting to be seen, wanting to represent the community, especially we've found in our research among Black voters.
Donna Thomas of Citrus Heights shared these thoughts on voting and whether she thinks her vote counts.
I feel like I have a right to vote. As an African American woman in this country, I was born and raised here. I know that my people have died for the right to vote, so I do have a right. Do I think it makes a difference? That's a hard question. Sometimes and sometimes not. You know, are the people where these votes are going, is everybody honest? I don't believe so. But it is my right. And so, yeah, I'm going to vote.
Thanks to a law passed last year, every registered voter in the state of California now receives a ballot in the mail for statewide elections in June and November. But even with that, experts and voters alike say keeping the physical vote locations is important.
You have to have access different ways, right? Whether it's mail-in, walk-in access, the day of voting access. There's nothing wrong with having different ways to get your ballot in.
Our research has shown that some of the main reasons are people don't trust the mail system. Even a drop box, they don't know if it's actually going to get there, even though it's not going through the mail system. It's a drop box that's, run by the registrar's office. They want to see it physically, go into a staff location where they know that it's safe and secure.
And Becca Habegger is with us now. And Becca, a physical voting location is about much more than just convenience, I would say.
For sure. Yeah, that voting expert Mindy Romero says that their research shows if there's any kind of impact to getting access to one of those, voting sites, whether that's a full parking lot or it's not fully accessible for people with disabilities, or even it's just unwelcoming to people of certain demographics. She says that disproportionately impacts people of color and young people who are trying to vote. So these voting sites are so important to giving everyone access, whether someone wants to vote in person or mail in their ballot via USPS. There's a whole slate of options here in California.
Yeah, absolutely. And mail-in ballots, they usually boost voter turnout. But these physical locations are so important to also making sure that everyone's voice is heard and everybody gets a a chance to vote, excuse me.
Yeah, for sure. And you and I were just talking earlier about how, a lot of people feel that even with voting, even if the system works well, their vote might not even be counted or might not, get the results that they want. So there's a lot of feelings of mistrust kind of up and down the system, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you're battling that and then a lot of misinformation and people just getting the right information. So that's something that we've really been trying to do here is make sure that everyone has accurate access to voting information so they can drop their ballot off wherever they'd like.
Absolutely.
All right, Becca, thank you. So if you do have any questions about the election, like I just mentioned, we have you completely covered. All you have to do is text us to 916-321-3310, and we can help you get what you need to know if you do have any questions.